All right, so hey, how's it going out there tonight? So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the first question is, not counting your fish finder or your chart plotter with 360 forward facing sonar, which piece of equipment would you prefer to have? And let's see, I put in the hydrowave system, which only got 13% of the vote, an underwater lighting system, which got 19% of the vote, and by far 69% of the vote was an AquaView camera. And if you've been following the channel, you know I bought an AquaView late last year, and as soon as I can get out on the water, we'll be demoing that thing and trying to see what structure looks like out on the water. So that should be a lot of fun. The second question was about crappie fishing. So what's your favorite crappie technique? Because I know there's a lot of crappie guys out there. Let's see, what do we got? A couple of rods with a jig under a cork. That got 17%. We got multiple rods with a spider rig on a boat. That only got 7%. And trolling until I actively find feeding fish, and that got 11%. And I have to admit that that's a lot of times that's what I do when I'm running around looking for crappie, is I'll be up on the bow and be kind of looking at my sonar up front with my trolling motor. And yeah, I'm going to have something dragging around in the water, and I pick up a lot of fish that way. But 65% of you say a single rod, up in front, vertical jigging. So that's kind of where everybody's at with that one. The third question, basically, if you could have a guided trip on any quadrant of the 48 lower states, where would you want to go? The Ozark region got 14%. California and Arizona got 12%. The Great Lakes region only got 6%. And that surprises me. And maybe I should have put in there, during the summertime, or because I'm sure, like me, the Great Lakes region, those big old smallmouth, yeah, I definitely want to go take that trip. And, I actually lived in Buffalo, New York for about 2.5 years, and I had a boat, and we'd go out to Lake Ontario, but we were always chasing the big lake trout. And then when I went to Lake Erie, we would chase the walleye. So I never really got into the smallmouth fishing while I was there. But my boat really wasn't set up for bass fishing. It was set up for trolling. The TVA system got 20%. And again, that's a big one for me, but hey, I live in Texas. So, although Texas is a big state, I can drive 700 miles, I think it is, from where I'm at near Amarillo. Probably only 600, and never leave the state of Texas. So that's a lot of ground to cover. But by far, 48% said they would like to take a guided trip in the state of Texas. And East Texas does have some amazing bass fishing. Although just south of me a few hours, about 6 hours, there's a lot of good fishing there. That OHIV that you guys probably saw, the Sixth Sense crew, Milliken and Luke Duncan and all them, that's about 6 hours from me. That was kind of a fun question. Hey, I'd like to stop for a minute and a little bit of update on the channel. So I've been putting out a newsletter to subscribers who wanted the spreadsheet that I made up on the Garmin ECHOMAP units. And I've got about 170 subscribers now. And so that's went really good. So I turned it over. I didn't turn it over, but I started a MailChimp account, which helps me manage all that. So when I send out a newsletter or something, I can just hit all subscribers and send it out. And it's got some really nice graphics. And I've put out 3 emails so far, and I think everybody's liked them pretty well. Have a good rate of opening them, which is over 50% of the people I send them to open them within a day or so. So I'm going to continue doing that. But down in the description, there's going to be a link. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, if you haven't done that already, go ahead and hit that, and that'll take you to what's called a landing page. And that landing page, all I need is your email and your first name, and you'll be signed up to get that newsletter. Another thing I went ahead and did was a settings spreadsheet that I sent out. It actually had my settings in it, which isn't good for everybody, but it's a good starting point for beginners. I put out this beginner's guide. It doesn't have the settings in it, but it's got the file structure. So if you're out on the water and you want to change something, like say you want to flip your left and right on your side view, you don't know what menu that was in, you can look through this real quick. So if you want to buy a copy of that, there'll also be a link in the description. And coming up, I went ahead and made some fishing journals, which are about the same quality, but about twice the size. They're about 50 pages. The fishing journals, I put 6 different colors. So if you fish like 3 bodies of water, you can buy 3 different colors of the journals. And one of them's got a bass on it, one's got a panfish, one's got a saltwater, and one's got a trout. So depending on what kind of fishing you do, you could get different covers on them, different colors, and have one just for a particular body of water. And I'll get some more information out on those. They are up on Amazon, but I'm kind of waiting until I get the links and all that to show those to you. So let's go ahead and get back to the questions. All right, the next question, and we're right in the middle of this one now. Thinking about pre-spawn, what type of tackle do you need to stock up on right now, getting ready for fishing season? I know we're dead in it right now, so I hope you already got it because the shells might be bare. Let's see, a red-orange crawfish crankbait got 31% of the vote. Bladed jig or swim baits, that was 8%. Football or structure jigs, that was 6%. Terminal tackle, shaky heads, bullet weights, things like that, that got 14%. And the majority of y'all already stocked up during Black Friday. So good job to you guys. Unfortunately, I didn't. I stocked up on some other stuff, but I'm all caught up now, so I'm ready. All right, so everybody should have got their tax refund who had one coming, so what do you got your eye on? And 47% live scope or forward-facing sonar. Yeah, that's what I'd like to have too. Get my first or add another chart plotter to the boat. That was 7%. A GPS trolling motor with spot lock. This one surprised me a little bit. 37%. So I haven't had one without GPS in so long, and man, I don't know. It's when you're fishing by yourself, that GPS, Minn Kota, Garmin Force, Lowrance Ghost, whatever you got, they're just so handy. I mean, they really are. And we'll be going over that. I've got a Minn Kota Tarova on my boat, so we'll be going over some of that here in the next upcoming months. But they're pretty easy to operate, to be real honest with you. But it is nice if you've got one stretch that's been real good to you for a couple of weeks. You can just troll down through there, make a route, and you don't even have to put your foot on the pedal other than to change your speed. And you can do that with the remote if you want to. And I threw in there, people who want a new kayak, a twin troller, a bass buggy, something like that. That only got about 9%. Because I know a lot of you guys out there are kayak fishermen. I get a lot of questions from guys saying they're going to set up their kayak, their new kayak. They just got a 73 SV or a 53 CV. So I know a lot of you guys are kayak fishermen as well. Okay, this question I almost didn't do because there are so many good hard bait manufacturers out there. Let's see, start out, we had Strike King with 40%. We had Norman with 16%. And guys, Norman lures are made out of a butyrate, which is a little softer material, a little softer plastic, and they do have a little bit of a different sound to them. So if you've never tried a Norman, I'd suggest you pick one up. Just see how you like it. They're a good lure. They really are. 6 Cents only got 16%. There again, that surprised me. If you look at the 6 Cents, man, their stuff looks really good. Little pricey though, little pricey. Mega Bass at 8%. I haven't fished a Mega Bass, but from what I've seen of them, they look like a really good bait as well. And other 20%. And I kind of figured that, there are just so many manufacturers out there. And I say fish your confidence, what you're confident in. Okay, and this one was based on my most recent video that I did with the coach, that collaboration with the coach on the jigs. It's called 217 Bassin, collaboration with the coach. It's the one right below this one in the purple. Can't miss it. It's kind of a wild looking thumbnail. Let's see, 100% always want hand-tied jigs. Got 36% of you voted on that. And got 50% who, you stock up on good hand-tied jigs during the winter, but when you run out, you're just going to run down to Academy and pick up what's on the shelf. And don't blame me for that. And 18% of you who don't fish jigs. And that really didn't surprise me because jigs are kind of acquired, to be honest with you. When I started fishing jigs, I didn't do any good. And I kept one in my hand for about 2 weeks, and I said, I'm going to catch a fish on a jig. Now, I'd caught them on some bladed jigs, but not, just throwing down, kind of jigging and flipping with them. But I'll tell you what, when I think it was probably the third bite I got on a jig, it about ripped my rod out of my hands. I'm telling you, if you haven't fished a jig, try it, because when they hit that thing, they hit it hard. And one thing with a jig, when you set the hook, make sure you got a stiff tip on there. When you set that hook, you better bring it home. They are a single hook bait, so if you get a good hook set, they're gonna stay on. All right, this was from back quite a few weeks ago, and I was talking about an A-rig and what's your favorite manufacturer of plastic paddle tails. And 70% Kitech, Easy Shiner, or Swing Impact. Yeah, I use a lot of Kitech. They're good. They're not real durable, but they've got a really good action to. Strike King Rage Swimmer at 12%. Guggen Saucy Swimmer was 9%. Bass Pro Speed Shad, 9%. And Other Right In was 6%. And we had a few others that wrote in. All right, and this is a survey I did before I started making these journals and putting them on Kindle Direct Publishing, was how many of you track your fish catches during the year? And got 17% that said, yes, I have a journal and I'm currently tracking them. 12% that keep it on a computer. And 43% who said, no, I haven't started. I'd like to, but I haven't done it yet. And then 28% of you that your memory's so good you don't never need to write it down. You know what, guys? Might get some gray hair someday when you get like me. You're probably going to need to write it down. And the final question for tonight was around the Super Bowl, the week before the Super Bowl. 60% of you took the Bengals. Sorry. 33% of us took the Rams. Long story, I was actually born in California. That was actually my team growing up, was the LA Rams. Back when Deacon Jones was with them. The Fearsome Foursome, for those of you guys who are old enough to remember that, they were a pretty good team. That was back before they even had a Super Bowl. God, I'm getting old. Jeez. And then 6% of you who don't watch football and you just wanted to watch the Olympics. So guys, I hope everybody is ready to go fishing. I know you guys up north are a little ways from ice out yet, but they're already pulling double digits out of some of the lakes around here. So I'm going to get off my butt and start going fishing here just pretty darn quick. And if you want to check them out, I got that settings log, and I'm going to have those journals up on KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, here pretty quick. And, if you want to support the channel, that's a good way to do it. All right, guys, so keep calm and hook 'em, and we'll see you on the next one.